Hey guys, Albe here. It's been a while since I made my last video on the F800GS, so here we are again. Now, the other day I noticed that the fluid inside the front reservoir was kind of milky. When you let it stand, the fluid kind of divides in two parts, a clear one and a milky one. Now, this is due of age of the fluid itself, moisture getting into the system, and other factors that I'm not really a chemical engineer, so I'm not really sure, but I know that the milky fluid in there is not the way it's supposed to be. I know the color is wrong. I know it needs to be flushed. So without further ado, let's flush the system. The best position for the bike to do this job that I could find is to actually put the bike on the kickstand, turn full lock to the right where the reservoir is actually level with the terrain. The first thing I'm gonna do is open the reservoir up and remove the fluid in there. Okay, first step in the process is, well, obviously put a towel down here and clean the reservoir, but we gotta remove the cap. Now, the BMW cap for the reservoir has little tabs on both sides, so here and here, that you gotta pinch in before you can actually undo the cap itself. Once the cap is done, it's time to remove the membrane that is inside and make sure no dust or debris is gonna end up over there. If you guys can see, there is a little bit of moisture in there. So grab your little cheap Amazon or Harbor Freight little vacuum pump and let's suck out some of this fluid. I'm gonna go empty these in my recycle can. At this point, get something that doesn't leave a residue behind and clean up the inside. And it's now time to fill it back up with clean fluid. Remember, DOT 4 or better. As you're bleeding the brake, remember not to let the reservoir go dry, otherwise you're gonna suck in air and it's gonna be, oh, you gotta keep bleeding until all the air gets out of the system. But let's go down there and let's start bleeding the brakes. You might ask, which side am I gonna start with? It's preferable to start with the side that is farther away from the reservoir. Remember, the fluid is gonna go in through the ABS pump and then back out to the caliper. So it might be more fluid than you think. The side you want to start is the right hand side because the fluid comes down here, then goes to the left hand side, then comes back to the right hand side. So this is the side that is farther away from the reservoir, therefore we're gonna start here. Bleed the brakes just like you would on anything else, cars, motorcycle, ADV or whatnot. When the fluid start coming down clean, you can actually stop, close everything up and move on to the other side. Okay, obviously first thing to do is get rid of the dust cap over here. Then I'm gonna put in this little hose to collect the fluid that is gonna come out of it. What I wanna do is with one hand I'm gonna squeeze the brake, while with the other I'm gonna open the valve. Squeeze, open and close. Once you're done with both calipers, it's now time to top off the reservoir. As always, when you top off the reservoir and you have not changed the brake pads, remember to leave some room. If you remember the level of the reservoir before you started the job, it's best because otherwise when you put new pads on the brakes, the fluid will come back up and overflow. On my bike, it's about a 1/4 inch or 5 millimeters from the max line. So I'm gonna leave it that way, and I'm gonna close everything up. Remember those two things, put it in like that, and cap back on. You can hear this noise, it's those two little tabs holding the cap. Now, if your reservoir is pretty stubborn and keeps tumbling over as you're trying to do this job, there is a tip. If you have a set of plumber pliers, what you can do is put a rubber band at the end of the plumber pliers. Put the plumber pliers around the reservoir just like this, where the rubber band is keeping pressure, and at this point the reservoir is pretty stable. It's not gonna try to fall in any way because the plumber pliers are holding it up. That should make it easy to do that and not spill the acidic fluid all over the place. And this is how you flush the front brake system on an F800GS. Now remember, what I've done here today applies to all the other bikes, unless you obviously have cable brakes. At that point, you're on your own. The job is pretty simple, and now we have a nice clean and clear fluid on the front brake system, which is a safety item, so it kind of needs to be done. As always, if you need anything of what I used in this video, check the description down below for links. 2019 is around the corner. That means brand new 2019 motorcycles need to be reviewed, and somebody needs to do it, and that somebody is gonna be me. So stay tuned. If you like the video, like. If you love the video, subscribe. Till then, ride on, and I'll see you next time.